Most ridiculous thing someone has said to you on a date?
I need to be home by 9 because I've got a foot tag on.
And my dad said, oh, no, that's a pedometer. A bike pedometer. I was like, no, Dad, it's a tag.
What was the moment you decided, yep, we're doing this, let's move in together and rebuild life as a team?
First, her husband left her when she was 6 months pregnant, and mine fell apart only because I just married sort of the wrong person.
Yeah.
A few years later, Loretta had a 3-year-old. At that time, I had a 1-year-old, and it was just a complete no-brainer. We brought up our kids together.
Yeah.
And a few years in, I got sick, and I got a severe autoimmune disease, which basically left me wheelchair bound. And she really had to look after me and my baby, really.
Yeah.
And he turned up on a moped. I went to kiss him, hello. And I kissed his helmet. And then I said, oh, God, sorry, I've just kissed your helmet. And he went, oh, it's a bit quick or something. It was just, the whole thing was just like awful, embarrassing.
That's so good.
Yeah.
If your sex life were a movie genre today, what is it? What's the most creative excuse you've used to avoid sex? Welcome to Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashborn and friends, brought to you by Dirty Talk. I'm Tatiana Ashborn, and these are my friends. This is the Gavin Sisters, everybody. How are you feeling to come on?
Yeah, good.
Good.
That's good. I'm glad you're here. It's nice to have you in my bed.
Thank you. Nice to be in your bed.
That's good. That's good. We're going to start off with some quick fire questions between the two of you. For anyone that doesn't know, I mean, it is in the title, but you are sisters.
Yes.
So these questions aren't actually inappropriate before other people think so. Who steals the other's clothes more?
That's probably quite even.
This is quick fire, Sharon.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sharon.
Who's the better flirt?
Sharon.
Who's more likely to text their ex after 2 glasses of wine?
Me.
Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah. Worst date you've had since your divorce, one word only.
Someone that just went on about their ex the whole time.
How's that not one word?
I don't know how to say it in one word.
Yeah, like, I suppose it's just, was it?
Just dick.
That's great. Yeah. For safe to you.
Well, I'm trying to think of the word.
Gaslight.
It's not really gaslight.
Love bombing.
Love bomber.
Yeah, that's
love bomber.
that's a good one. Who has the strangest dating app matches if you use dating apps?
We both do.
Probably
both do.
you.
Yes.
After 40.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What's the biggest ick that you guys give off?
That we give off.
Yeah.
I just think people think we're really boring, that we don't drink.
Yeah.
We're plant-based and dull as dishwater, really.
Yeah, okay. And what's your biggest ick of someone else?
I think men naked with guitars.
That is so good.
Or sort of like men sort of saying, I'm writing a book.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not, it's never going to go anywhere. Keep to your main job.
Yeah, I get
That's
that.
really mean, Sharon.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, I think men.
People that say they're going to write a book.
Men that say they think they should do stand-up because I did a speech at my best man's wedding.
Oh yeah.
And then they do the speech and it's shit.
Yeah. God, I can't wait to dive into this. Who would survive longer in celibacy?
Yeah.
Well, I have.
Yeah.
I have survived.
Okay, who's going to be better in bed? Are you going for star sign or personality? Are you a star sign?
Oh no, personality.
Personality?
Yeah.
Personality,
Yeah. Do you think about star signs or not really?
Not really,
No.
no. If I really liked them, I might read into the fact that they're Cancer and I'm Taurus.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I really like them, but
Yeah,
it's not something I would.
I think it'd be my ick if I went on a date and they're like, what's your star sign? And what's your,
Would you find
I'd find that difficult.
Yeah.
Because then it's like either dead in the water before it's even began because they're constantly... I've got a really good friend of mine that's obsessed with star signs. And
Is
then,
it a girl?
Yeah. Makes it her personality.
I know this is a bit sexist, but from a girl it feels a bit more palatable.
Yeah.
That is sexist.
I know it's sexist, but there's just something a bit, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not very manly. I don't know. I know that's sexist, but...
No, I get it. Most ridiculous thing someone has said to you on a date?
I need to be home by 9 because I've got a foot tag on.
No, that is true. That is true. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
and I was like, what do you mean a foot tag? And he's like, then he was driving. I think he was dropping me home, but he was racing with the circa vans. You know those prison vans?
Yeah.
And then calling them and going, I will be home. He's obviously let out. I don't know. Yeah.
How did you find him?
He actually worked for my dad's construction company, and he was painting my flat, and he asked me out, which is awful because I then got him the sack because I then told everyone he's wearing a foot tag.
Yeah.
And my dad said, oh, no, that's a pedometer. A bike pedometer. I was like, no, Dad, it's a tag. He's wanted as an armed robber.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Apparently he didn't do it though, so.
Yeah.
Is that what he told you?
Yeah.
Have you seen him again since?
No. It was a long time ago, yeah.
Oh my goodness. What's the most creative excuse you've used to avoid sex?
Okay.
Got herpes.
Have you actually?
Yeah.
What was the context?
Well, I've just said.
Well, did you ever want to see him again?
No. Well, I think if you do get herpes, not that I'm talking for a friend, but I sort of said I think there's a breakout about to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like
almost sounds exciting. There's a breakout about to happen.
You get the tingle on your lips, so you can get it down there as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Apparently, this is what ChatGPT told me.
If your sex life were a movie genre today, what is it?
Fucking
A movie genre.
Horror, rom-com, documentary.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Yeah.
Because it's just not happening.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Country and Western?
Country, let's go with that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I love that. What a good game. But it means I've got so many more questions to ask you. There's so much I want to go into. But let's explain to everyone. So you're not just sisters. You became housemates, single parents under one roof, and creative partners. What was the moment you decided, yep, we're doing this, let's move in together and rebuild life as a team?
Well, we were always inseparable before we got married anyway.
Okay.
We were always lived together, shared flats. We even went to drama school the same year at the same drama school. We're very twin-like, actually.
And what is the age gap?
3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we were always very, very twin-like. So we'd always lived together up until we got married. And then obviously we got married and separated. But when our marriages fell apart, Loretta's fell apart first. Her husband left her when she was 6 months pregnant. And mine fell apart only because I just married sort of the wrong person.
Yeah.
A few years later, Loretta had a 3-year-old. At that time, I had a 1-year-old. And it was just a complete no-brainer.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm leaving my husband.
It wasn't even a discussion.
No, Loretta had a spare room. She needed extra rent anyway. It just was perfect.
Yeah.
So we didn't even need to talk about it. It was like, this is what's happening. Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't a plan. It wasn't that wasn't what we wanted to happen.
That wasn't on the
It
vision.
was life circumstances that kind of pushed us together. But actually, it was one of the best things really that ever happened because we had each other, we had au pairs. It's always been a really loving, supportive home, and we've just loved it.
And do you think you'd ever actually go your separate ways and move out?
Not at this point, no, because we are very much a family unit. We've brought up our kids together.
Yeah.
So they're like brothers and sisters. Obviously we've had boyfriends occasionally, but that hasn't really been the focus. I've got to be honest. I know this is all about sex and your sex life, but we have not been focused on relationships. But in quite a wonderful way, really.
That's so good. Yeah.
We've been focused on bringing up our kids. And building our business.
Yeah,
and I've
absolutely.
never been happier.
Yeah.
Years when I was in relationships, chasing relationships, in relationships, out of relationships, they didn't really lead me to happiness, I've got to say.
No, absolutely.
I get so much more from my female friendships. We've just gone to Marrakesh for a weekend. There's 10 of us. I have not stopped laughing.
That's
a lot of my
amazing.
friends are married and unhappily so. And I think there is much too much emphasis on romantic love. I generally believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think a good female friendship, obviously we're sisters and it really has been, let's bring our kids up, let's build a business. That's been our focus.
Yeah. And you talk about the fact that you had the autoimmune disease. Tell me a bit about that.
So what happened was when I got married, a couple of years in, it was, as I said, it wasn't a great marriage. I think I was constantly in fight or flight. It was very high conflict. And he really kind of flourished in conflict, and I hate conflict.
Yeah.
So it was it was a nightmare. And a few years in, I got sick, and I got a severe autoimmune disease, which basically left me wheelchair bound. It was a muscle disease, like a muscle weakness disease.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got to points where the disease kicked off actually when I was pregnant, but I got to a point where I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't, I couldn't brush my hair. I couldn't hold a hairbrush. I couldn't even hold a toothbrush. I mean, I was that weak. Obviously, I was given a lot of drugs that helped a bit, but they didn't really get me completely better.
Yeah.
So I was very unhappy. I was very ill, and I knew that I would leave my husband because I just didn't want my son growing up in that environment. And ultimately, I completely fell out of love.
Yeah.
You know, when you're with someone who doesn't treat you well, sometimes you're, I think some people feel trapped, so like they can't get out because they're so in. But I was like, I'm getting out. I'm not living my life like this. So I did get out. I was very sick. I had a baby, and I moved in with my sister. And she really had to look after me and my baby, really. He is on the scene, and he would sort of see him every other weekend and still does so. But I then was on lots of meds. As I said, the meds got me a bit better, but not completely. Yeah. And I then started looking, and this is the foundation of our business, really. I started looking at other ways to heal. And cut a long story short, I found people with chronic autoimmune diseases that got better, and they had correlating factors. One of them was to get out of a high stress environment, like a chronic toxic stress environment, which I was in. They became plant-based, they became teetotal, obviously sleep, meditation,
connection,
exercise connection. Yeah. There was lots of correlating factors. And I looked at these people and I just thought, these are just normal people that have made extraordinary changes and have got better. Like, they're not superhuman. That if they can do it, you can do it. You don't have to be Mo Farah. You just have to do what they did. So I went to my sister and I was like, look, I was like, this is a nightmare. I've got to be like a teetotal vegan. My life is over. But it might get me better. And then Loretta did it all with me and I got better.
And so what took you to say, because obviously to change your life dramatically is a massive thing. Was it because you were now 6 months pregnant thinking, what on earth do I do?
But I think by the time Sharon had moved in, and obviously she was really sick, I was a single mum with a tiny baby. She had a baby as well. I mean, quite frankly, I was exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. It was like I was looking in a magazine, at a doctor's surgery. And you read an article about someone's life and you go, oh God, thank God. And you sometimes feel better because you read the shit in these articles and you think, oh, thank God, my life is so much better than that. I felt like I was the person in the article. And I had this kind of, this thing of like, I just knew I needed to do everything I could to get my energy in a place where I could cope with her being sick. My mum was also ill at the same time as well. It was this perfect storm. And I think no one gets through life without these things happening. It'd be a miracle if you don't. People have shit stuff that happens. And what you need when you're going through that kind of stuff is, what you need is energy. And I knew I needed my energy to cope with it.
Absolutely.
So I had high motivation. I also wanted my sister back. To see her so sick, it was, oh my God, it was heartbreaking. Absolutely. I mean, it upsets me now thinking about it, to see her struggling the way that she struggled. It was heartbreaking, and I just knew I needed to, sorry, I don't know why I'm getting so upset about this. I knew I needed to do everything I could to get her better. And I also want to say, because I think this is really important, is not to kind of put Disney dust over this story and say, oh, she went plant-based and she gave up alcohol and then all of a sudden she sprung out of bed. It didn't happen out like that. It took a long time. We went through highs and lows. There were times where Sharon would be like, it's not working. I've not drank for 6 weeks and my skin is flaring. But what we did do is we just kept going despite the results. We just kept going and slowly, like little bit, and by little bit, she got better and better. And it was this almost compound effect. And what was the sort of unintended result of it was that I felt better. Not that I felt amazing, but I just felt like I was happier. I had more focus. I had more productivity. I just felt like, okay, life, I can do this. You know?
I think even just cutting alcohol will make you happier.
Yeah.
Over a long, it really does.
But isn't there's like a certain amount of time before it actually fully leaves your body, right?
Yeah, it takes a good few months.
Yeah.
Before you can really see the difference.
Like even with that's even going vegan, that's bit, is it not just alcohol? It takes a while for it to all get out your system.
It took me 5 years to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, it really did take me, I was on a lot of medication and I slowly got off each med. I mean, I would drop 1 milligram. I was on 3 immune suppression drugs and I would drop 1 milligram on one drug and it'd take at least a year to get off that.
Yeah.
I just kept going with the food, nutrient dense, plant-based food, no processed foods or crap, and slowly but surely I got better.
Yeah. And because your children will they remember you going through all this or not really?
I think Florence will a bit.
Carter, not so much.
Florence probably remembers it a bit more. But they don't like. I remember at one point I went to Portugal with my parents, and when you just really need to go away, and I took the kids, but Sharon was in hospital. She was wrapped in bandages. Her skin, it was like something from a science manual. Yeah, it was so chronic. And as an actor, as a comedian, it was tough, wasn't it? I mean, you never ever. I don't think she ever complained. It was like it was amazing how you you weren't vain, is what I'm saying. You never.
Well, all right, how bad did I look?
No, but do you know what I mean? Like when it's your skin.
Yeah, especially in the career.
I just had to get through it. I just had to get through it, and I think the worst part of the disease. Obviously, the skin looked bad and was very uncomfortable, but the worst part was the muscle disease. Yeah. And the muscles got better first, and that's what I really cared about.
What made you go to the doctors? Is it something that you've known since you were born, or is it just...
It just came on. Wow. I got a really severe rash out of the blue, and then I went to the doctors, and they were like, "Oh, it looks like acute eczema." And then within 3 weeks, I noticed my muscles weren't working, and I was like, "I can't pick anything. I've lost my strength in my muscles. I can barely get up out of a chair. Like, what's going on?" So I was fast-tracked to a rheumatologist, and I was diagnosed with, it's called dermatomyositis, but it's similar to lupus, but it's very rare. Yeah.
Wow, that's very, very tough.
Yeah.
And what makes you feel the most, like, the happiest now?
Waking up feeling good.
Yeah.
Having, even like last night, we put the Christmas tree up, just me, Loretta and the kids. We had such a laugh.
Yeah.
Just like, we have such a brilliant life.
Yeah.
Saying that, I've just been to Marrakesh and I had such an amazing time.
Moaning about putting out the washing.
Yeah, the drudgery of life sometimes, because I went from such a high, like, I had such a good time, and I went back to like washing and school uniform and like mortgage and business planning and strategy, and I was just like, I just don't want to be an adult. I just was like, wasn't an adult for 3 days, and that was amazing.
It was quite funny actually, because we were out one night, we were all dancing, and there was a girl. I'd say she's probably about your age.
Right,
How old are you? Do you mind me asking?
22.
Yeah, so they were 22, right? Yeah. And she came up to us and she said, "Oh, look, I just want to share something with you." And she said, "I hope you don't mind, but me and my friend were just saying, we really hope we're like you at your age." Oh. And I was like, "Oh, that's so nice." It was like...
It's double-edged.
It cut hard as well, because I thought, how old do you think we are? It's like we've just walked out of our wheelchairs and started dancing.
Yeah. I was sort of like...
I was like, it was really bizarre.
So funny.
Yeah.
It was like, we've
so
come up to old people and said, we think you're cool. But we're like, oh God, there's obviously such a big gap now that you have to say for someone your age, you're cool.
That's so funny.
But we have a great life, and we are really blessed.
And I think the thing is, having purpose is a real thing. So all of the work that Sharon and I do, it's purpose driven.
Yeah.
And we get emails from people at our retreats saying, "I've changed this, I've changed that, I've done this, I've done that." All of that. It makes you feel good. So we do something we love every day, which absolutely I think you do as well. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And talk to me about the retreat and what it is exactly that you do now.
So we have this place out in Suffolk, and it's a really beautiful barn. And we obviously, me and Loretta were comedians, but when we became single mums, we were like, oh shit, we need a plan B, because I've got to provide for this kid. Do you know what I mean? I can't be gigging and going up to Edinburgh all the time. So, and I knew I wanted to do something in health because on my own health journey. So I was like, maybe we'll do a juice bar. Then I was like, I don't want to work in a juice bar because that would be my life every day. So we had this property in Suffolk, which is really lovely. And we were like, maybe we loved retreats ourselves. So we were like, maybe we can do a retreat there. And I used to bring my girlfriends out there for weekends, and everyone would get drunk apart from me and Loretta because we weren't drinking anymore. But they'd all have a great time getting drunk. And then in the mornings we'd be doing like ginger shots and going for runs. And then inevitably Loretta would cook for everybody, and she's like an incredible cook. And I always remember my friend Jenny towards the end of the weekend, she was like, whenever I hang out with you, I want to change. I want to change my life.
Good. That's
like you've got to do this for people, teach people how you're doing what you're doing. And then we were like, maybe we could bring people to the barn and host a retreat. So that's basically the concept of it. So it's not too serious. I've been on a lot of retreats where it was all like namaste every 3 minutes, or
it was sort of competitive spirituality, wasn't it?
Or the spiritual element to it, which you don't necessarily,
And when you come, do you have to be not like non-alcohol?
Well, it is alcohol free.
So it's alcohol free. It's a digital detox.
But you don't actually have to within your life anyway. You don't have to be a vegan, but you'll come over.
Oh,
and
no.
Things,
I suppose my mission is when I'm, I kind of think, I suppose if I was doing my research again now, I'd probably have a bit of fish. I think, but at the time, this is what we did, and it's made us feel so good. We've just stuck with it. So I'm not a kind of like, everyone has to be vegan. I think, as well as you eat a predominantly, whole food, plant-based diet.
From scratch, just basic principles.
Then that's really, really amazing. Sorry, I can't remember, what was the question?
No, thinking that like because for example, I would love to go on a retreat like that, but because I'm a meat eater or because I drink alcohol, obviously I wouldn't on the retreat. Yeah. That's the whole point about doing the retreat.
I think our mission is to introduce really good food so that people go away going, actually, eating healthily is really good.
Yeah.
So you're not hungry. And it's really delicious food, and everyone on the retreat, they always say, if you could just come home and cook for me, then I would be able to eat this healthily.
I mean, I think as well, and that's driven from when we first started doing this. I was like, I'm going to be a miserable teetotal vegan. Like everyone's going to be having a great time drinking wine and eating chorizo, and I'm going to be drinking water and eating lettuce. Like I might get better, but I'm going to be joyless. Maybe I'll just drink my wine and take the meds. Like what's better? But I couldn't have been more wrong. Once we switched and once Loretta learned the principles of plant-based cooking.
And I retrained as a natural vegan chef, so I studied nutrition alongside cooking. I think that's with any habit, anything you want to change, you have to hook rewards to it. You have to make it good. You have to make it easy.
And then you have a whole new lease of life, that you start again and your energy is massively high.
I mean, it was, as I say, it took about 5 years to get off all the meds. And then we started, hosting the retreats. And we've been hosting them for about 6 years now. And we do weekends in Suffolk once a month, sometimes twice a month in the busier months. And then I do 2 a year in Portugal now as well, which is a 5-night retreat.
And they're really good fun.
Yeah, as I said, it's not too serious. It's not too preachy. It's not too worthy. We get real beginners coming to our retreat. People that just feel a bit stuck, a bit sluggish. You don't ever have had to have done yoga. We do have yoga there, but we have lots of people that, would feel intimidated by a normal retreat. Yeah. And we really attract those people. Yeah. And it's,
and how many people come to one set?
Up to 10.
Okay,
so
it's also nice.
8 and 10 it usually is. Yeah. But, sometimes in the mornings, like I'll record the sound from or in the evenings, the sound from the living room, and they're all sat round. There's loads of laughter. There's no alcohol. 8 people that didn't know each other literally 24 hours before. And they're connecting and having a great time. And there's no phones.
And actually, that's an unintended benefit from the barn, is what we never factored this in, that actually talking to people from different parts of the world that do different things gives you so much. And actually gives you a different perspective. I mean, we've literally had someone that's run a bank to a porn star sat round the same table
it's brilliant.
and getting on and chatting and laughing and it's so interesting. And people make friends as well, you know.
She might be a good guest for you, actually.
Yeah, well, you have to.
Oh, yeah, she would be a great guest.
Oh,
Yes,
I interviewed her because she was so sexually free, obviously. And I mean, even when I walked in here, I was like, oh my God, there's dildos and the mum's there. I mean, so, and it was your dad's idea, like, what is this? But that's
we're Irish
Catholic. Irish Catholic. I mean, I'm not practicing Catholic at all, but it's kind of, but I was interested because we have so much judgment. Yeah. And she was so lovely and funny and vibrant. Yeah. But she had this like incredible history. So I'll afterwards I'll
definitely
I'll
please
you,
do.
I'll hook you up,
But how do you feel? How's it been? Like attempting to either date again or just connect with people, when do you feel like there's people think things of you that you are going to be the boring people that don't drink, that are plant-based, you know?
When I did date, I put on my profile, like I did something funny, but I put like total vegan, don't run away, but I can't remember, it was much funnier than that. But anyways, because I was like, I don't want to go out with someone that wants a drinker, because people that drink a lot want to be with other people that drink a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wanted to make that really, really clear. I have done a bit of dating. I did it more when Carter was a bit younger, like 5, 6. I started to dip my toe back in. But I found myself going on dates and just sitting there and just basically, obviously they weren't the right people, kind of being bored shitless and just sort of going,
I'd rather be in bed.
I'd rather be putting my son to bed than doing this. Like, I've got this really gorgeous little kid at home and I'm sat here bored out of my mind. And so I stopped, basically, because I was like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I don't need it enough. And the reason I don't need it enough is I live with my best mate. So, like, we literally...
You're not lonely.
I'm not lonely. There's no, like, obviously, other than sex, and I'm not that bothered. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I'm not. I mean, I was a bit more bothered, but as the years have gone on, I'm like, really not bothered. And those friends of mine that are in long-term relationships, they're like, oh God, like, the weekly tick or whatever. And so I stopped dating because it wasn't giving me anything. If I've always been like open, if I was to meet the right person, like working or a train station but the process of dating and the admin alone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I did meet someone, which I can share this story because I suppose it's quite funny.
Well, it's funny if it's not you.
It wasn't funny at the time because I was actually quite heartbroken, but I met someone on LinkedIn and I was pitching a corporate wellness idea. And he was like the CEO or COO, whatever. And he sort of said, and it was a video of me as well, and Loretta presenting. It was quite funny as well. And he basically said, look, I'm not the right person for this, but I would love to take you for lunch.
No.
Right?
Wow.
So I was like, didn't really quite fancy the picture. And I was a bit like, well, this isn't Tinder. I mean, we're on LinkedIn. What are you doing? And anyway, cut a long story short, he was quite, he persevered quite a lot. And he was like, look, let me bring you to Soho House and just take you for lunch, and I really loved your video, and you're a vegan comedian, and I have an older daughter who's a vegan comedian, and we'll have so much in common. Next minute I get this video through and it's of his daughter, and she's really charming. She's like going, I think my dad wants to take you out for lunch and I really think you should go. He's like really lovely. I think you'll have a super nice time, from one like vegan comedian to another. So, and it should have been creepy, but it wasn't. It was incredibly charming. So I eventually went. This is the love bombing. So I eventually went. I wasn't 100% sure whether I actually fancied him, but he was very clever. So he had an intellect. What's the word when you're attracted to intelligence? It just shows how thick I am. I can't actually remember the word.
I didn't even know there was a word.
You're
brighter than me.
It's sociopathian or something. Anyway, I'll find it afterwards.
Stop trying to show off.
So he was very clever, and he had gone to Oxford, and we just got on really well. Like 4 hours went really quickly, but I still wasn't sure whether I fancied him. But then, sort of 6 weeks of love bombing later, he brought me to Le Manoir, he did this, he did that, he was really romantic, and I found myself really falling for him, and there was a connection there. And then there was always slight red flags, because he talked about his ex-wife, that they were separated but they weren't divorced. And when I asked him about his ex-wife and why was it so bad, apparently she was a drinker, but she was always basically shagging other men, and a lot younger men, 25-year-olds. And I was like, so hang on a minute. So you know that she's been having all these affairs, so why did you stay with her? And you walked in on her, and you'd go to a bar, and then she'd be doing it in the back alley with someone, and then you'd have to get her and save her. Like, really dark stories.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't what the red flag is. Why were you with her for 20 years? And then my mates, you know what it's like with girls. We pretend that we don't talk about it. We talk about everything. They were like going, maybe he's in an open relationship.
Yeah.
And then at one point he said, like, he put up a tent in the garden, and she was going to bring men back there because she wanted him to move out. It was all really like, and I was kind of going along with it.
In the back garden is weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
What husband puts up a tent in the back garden so your wife can shag strangers?
Tent. It was then they were very rich. It wasn't like a tent. It was whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's still a tent.
Yeah. So I was like, that's really odd. And he was like, she wanted me to move out, and I refused to divorce her. So she'd wanted the divorce. So in the separation, she'd apparently moved out, and she was like, I want to divorce you. I'm shagging men in front of you, and you still won't divorce me, which is an alarm bell for me.
Yeah.
So she moved out. Anyway, 6 months later, by this stage, 6 months in, I'd kind of like really opened up. I really felt like I'd fallen in love. He had 3 boys, and obviously I had Carter. And we didn't see each other that much because he had a big job and he was flying here, there and everywhere. But when we could see each other, we did. And I really, really fell in love. And then I got this text out of the blue. I started analysing myself going, do you know about attachment styles?
Yeah.
So I was like going, I'm feeling really anxious. He's not said goodnight tonight, and he's not said I love you. And when's the last time he said I love you? And looking through my phone, and I'm like turning into a mad woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that anxious attachment style, or am I picking something up? That kind of grey area.
Yeah.
So anyway, out of the blue, I get this message on Facebook going, I know all about you. From his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Or his separated wife. I know all about you, David. And we are getting back together, just so you know. And I'm moving back into the house. I'm very happy for you to be on the side. So I was like, what? So, I mean, obviously Catholic, I was like, oh my God. So then I messaged him, and he was like, she's trying to jeopardize us. She's trying to ruin us. I told her today I'm completely in love with someone else, and she's jealous, and please ignore it, which I did. And then a few weeks, and then in front of me, I made him text her so I could see the texts.
Yeah.
I've analysed it since then. And I was going, please stop messaging Sharon, like, we are together, blah, blah. But now remembering it, I remember he went to the toilet straight afterwards.
So she's so Daily Mail, I love it.
Yeah. I think he probably deleted it.
God, this could be a movie.
Yeah. So then I got another message 2 days later going, just so you know, we're going to therapy. I just don't want you to get hurt. As I said, I'm happy for you to be on the side.
Yeah.
I know all about you. So then I was like, I've got this message like, what the fuck is going on? And then he was like, look, just ignore it. And then I woke up, or he'd gone to San Francisco. I woke up on a Saturday morning. I was actually running a retreat, which it was so difficult to get through that retreat. I'll never forget it. And I got this text message through going, look, I'm really sorry, but Joe is moving back in. So I guess that means that we're going to have to separate.
That's awful.
Yeah, so that is my experience of love again.
Yeah, that's horrendous.
Yeah, it was horrendous. I was basically dumped by text. I mean, it's 3 years ago now, but I was dumped by text as I was working, as I had to go and see the guests. And I was like, he's coming for the country walk, crying under my hood. And then,
that's so
I mean,
hard.
It was horrendous.
Yeah.
Like horrendous.
Yeah.
But then looking back, I actually had someone on my podcast talking about anxious attachment style, talking about love bombing. And all these things are red flags of a narcissist.
Yeah.
This kind of that love bombing is a red flag.
Yeah.
I mean, of course there can be romance but that kind of I love
relentless.
You after seeing you for 3 days.
Yeah.
They don't know you.
Yeah, all right. Well, the whole time she was going, you can't possibly love you. For God's sake, protect yourself. Had her the whole time. I was going, it's all right for me. I've just met the one. I was doing all that, going back to all that romantic. Because you're brought up with it as children, this whole romantic, the one, all of this kind of man.
But some people do have that, Sharon. Like, I've heard stories of marriages that 50 years, and they've said, as soon as I met her, I knew. Or as soon as I met.
But how many are the opposite? There are those stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my kind of dating story. And that's when the Daily Mail ran with, no men, sisters, no. Because she asked me, would you bring him back into the house?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because unspoken rule, we're not just going to bring men back. We've got 2 kids, and I always went
Not
to
a
his.
brothel.
Yeah, and I'm like, I would go to his house, but then the Daily Mail ran with no men allowed. The sisters say no. And I was like, I just didn't want some bloke at the breakfast table with my 2 kids.
Yeah,
it's
but
just
no
not
one would do
comfortable.
that. Like you shouldn't. Well, no one should really do that.
Yeah.
No, unless you're in a, like, we were 6
you're
months in and I was ready to introduce him.
Yeah.
But then it all went wrong. So, yeah.
Well, Paul, but it's interesting how you both have very different then ways now of dealing with dating. I suppose if you're there going, oh no, it's too soon. Have you noticed, are you like that when you get into a relationship as well? Are you very aware, or are you now aware because of what's happened to you in your past?
I think I'm a bit more of a pragmatist.
Okay.
And a bit more my feet on the ground. But to be honest, I haven't done much dating. I did try, and I found it.
Do you remember you went on that one date and he insisted on sitting next to you?
Oh, some weird guy, and we were sat up at each other having an Indian, and he came and sat next to me.
Oh, that's on the first day. I think that's a bit.
And I don't know what to do. I'm
much.
like, this is so weird. It's like we're 7. Yeah, and then I tried it, and then I actually had this gut instinct. I was like, I'm not enjoying this. And and I'm not enjoying swiping, and I'm not enjoying the relentless messaging.
I think we're too content as well. Like, I'm in bed by 9. Who wants to go out with someone that goes to bed at 9? Do you know what I mean? Seriously, I'm so content.
But
that's great.
I also think there's a power in it as well. This is me, like, optimistically trying to like shine a bit of light on this. But I always say to myself, like, it's a really powerful position to be in, is to be content. And I always said to Sharon, I want to meet someone that's going to make me better.
Yeah.
That's going to add something to my life, rather than just feeling like I should be dating because that is
a societal norm.
Yeah. So someone that's going to add value to my life, that I'm going to learn from, that's going to make me laugh. I mean, it's quite a hard ask, but that's what I want. And if that's not on offer, then I can't be asked.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And going back to your childhood then, what was it like, if you're Irish Catholic, what was that like growing up with your parents and your views on sex and relationships?
Well, it was, I mean, I remember watching like Dallas and they'd be kissing and like my dad would turn the telly off. It was like tense.
It was.
And my mum used to say to me, don't ever let a boy put his hand on your knee, because it will always lead to something else.
It was very. We
It
didn't
wasn't.
really
We talk about.
sex.
We never talked
about sex. But you've got to remember, they come from a very repressed island upbringing. It was no sex before marriage, which certainly was my parents. They got married at like 21. They were so repressed. I mean, it'd be a miracle not to kind of pass some of that on.
But we wasn't really. It just wasn't just
never discussed.
We never talked about it. I think my sex education. My mum said something like,
when you're married,
the penis enters the vagina. And I'd be like, and I think that was it,
so we kind of.
Whereas we've got with our kids, we've got a really open.
It's too open. I'm like, oh God,
don't tell me that. So it's interesting, and I always say to Sharon, I wonder if, I think because we've had that kind of upbringing, I wonder if we'd be a bit more experimental if we'd.
Yeah.
Like.
Because we were always saying, like, I've got 10 female friends and we're all straight. Yeah. And we're like, how is that actually possible? I mean, I don't know what the stats are. But maybe we've been so brainwashed to being straight.
Heterosexual is normal.
That none of us never even went there. Wouldn't even occur to us. But then I think if you're truly gay, you'd have to go there.
But I'm not talking about being gay. I'm talking about like having experiences. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're quite straight.
No, we are quite straight. And all my female friends are quite straight as well.
So then, was the person you married, were they your first relationships?
No.
And you didn't wait till marriage?
I mean, I really went for it.
No.
I mean, I wasn't that. No. I had loads of relationships. Yeah. I wasn't. I just wouldn't be. I wouldn't be having threesomes, and I wouldn't be getting off with women.
You wouldn't be doing open relationships.
No, never open. All the terms now that our kids come back with, I don't even know what they are. But no, I would never, and I wasn't great ever really at one night stands either. I mean, I have had occasional, but I still do think this, that it's not who's that girl that sleeps with hundreds of men for money?
Bonnie Blue.
It makes me feel very uneasy, and I do think it is quite an intimate thing to do. The odd occasion that I ever did, I never felt good.
Yeah. But I wonder if did you not feel good because of the subliminal messaging that you got about sex?
Maybe.
I don't know. Or is it an instinct?
I don't know what it is, because we're all like saturated, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like we're all brainwashed to a certain extent. But when I read Sadhguru, he's like this kind of Eastern philosopher, and he was sort of like going, it really is a union. Yeah. And you give that away, you are giving something of yourself.
Absolutely.
And I am a bit probably prudish about it, but I definitely, I had loads of relationships, but I wouldn't, as I said, it wasn't one night stands. I'd be going with someone for 3 months, and then we split up, and I'd go with someone 6 months, and we split up. I did loads of app dating before I met my husband, like loads of it, because she met her husband and I was on my own, and I was like, shit, I need to meet someone. And so I did. I remember, because I really wanted to be a mum as well, and I was panicking around that 33 age, I remember like organising like I was quite sort of strategic about it. I was like 3 dates a day, like a coffee date, a lunch date. I was fucking exhausted. And by the time I met my husband, I was so ready to meet someone. Yeah. And he was charming, successful, had all the tick boxy that I was looking for. Yeah. But I made a really big mistake, because I needed it to happen. Yeah. And he was the first person that I clicked with enough. Wow. I had a relationship when I was like 25 to 29. Yeah. Or 26 to 29. And he left me.
He was lovely, wasn't he?
He was lovely. Yeah, he was
we
so
all
kind.
loved him.
Everybody loved him.
And what happened there?
I think I was probably a bit...
I'm
a bit much. I have recently been diagnosed ADHD, and I just was like, I was at the time, I was doing loads of stand-up, we were doing loads of comedy shows, and I think he was very quiet. Yeah.
And it was a bit me.
Yeah, I think I just expected him to like...
They didn't laugh at my line.
Yeah. I think I expected him just to...
Why didn't you laugh louder, Dave?
No, I think I expected him just to slot into my life. That I was the like boss, and basically he slotted in. But he was really kind. There was one like female friend sort of saying to me like, intellectually, I don't think you're really matched. He just looks good, which is really mean. And he wasn't stupid or anything like that, but maybe we didn't fire off completely. But looking back, I'd take that over anything. He was kind, he was loving, he was lovely. But one day I'd come back from doing an Edinburgh run in Edinburgh, and I was completely blindsided. Yeah. He just seemed a bit quiet, and I was like, you okay? You seem a bit quiet. And he was like, no, I'm fine. He was really pale. And then he basically said, I just don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Wow. And I was like going, what? I was so confused. And then I was like, yeah, you better be careful, because I'm going to like, I think I was sort of threatening him, like trying to get...
You better be careful with this, because I might leave you.
Yeah. I was desperately trying to get control of the conversation. You better... Because you can just go. And then when I said you can just leave, then you can say something like that.
It sounds like The Roses. Have you watched The Roses?
No, I want to see it.
So because Olivia Colman and Benedict, they have an argument, and he's like, I want a divorce. And she's like, well, no, you can't have a divorce, because I want a divorce.
I was just trying to get control. I didn't want him to leave. And then I've never seen anyone put their trainers on so quickly and out the door. That's so and he left, and he was sure, and it was over. Wow. And I think... You see, when you look back and you think what decision led to what decision. So that was incredibly painful for me. And it took me a good 2 years to get over him. And then I had a string of kind of like 6 months and then not working. And I probably was quite wounded. And I was just desperate, thinking, oh shit, I'm 31 now. And, and then trying to find the next one. And just a string of this, that, and it not working. And probably feeling quite wounded and not properly healed from it. And then I met my husband, and I was just like, and we did have a lot of connection. So all the stuff that was slightly missing in Dave was there in bucket loads, but with that type of personality.
Yeah, absolutely. A
whole load of shit.
Yeah.
That you never want to be in. Coercive control. It was horrendous. Yeah.
Wow. And so for you, was it when you went through your divorce, you were going through a massive life change anyway by being pregnant?
Yes.
He left you when she was. He left when she was 6 months pregnant.
Was it a shock? Was
Oh
it
my God, it was like
absolute
complete.
shock?
It was like he was. I didn't realize he was living a double life. It was just we just bought a house together.
Wow.
So we just bought this house. We were decorating it, and I knew things were off. You know, you kind of go. And I thought he was worried about being a dad.
He started to treat you a bit badly.
Yeah,
you know, like they want you to dump them.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it was completely shocking. And I remember being really frightened. Like I can't remember a time when I was most frightened in my life because, you know, I not something I'd planned being a single mum.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was an actor, so it wasn't like I had a big job.
Yeah.
I remember feeling paralysed with fear, but at the same time, I had this kind of inner strength because I had, you know, obviously my daughter, and I was like, I had this inner strength of going, this isn't going to make me unhappy.
Yeah.
I am going to make sure
And
that
you're going to be in it together as well.
Yeah, and you are going to have a really happy life, and you're going to see a happy mum.
Yeah,
you're not going to see someone bitter, angry,
Yeah.
men, bastards. I'm not going to be that person, and I never have been. And actually, you know, I mean, it was tough at the time, but now we get on fine, and it's all kind of worked out well in a lot of ways, and it's kind of given me a kind of inner strength, really.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
You know, I think those things, they either, what do they call them? You know, they either make you or they break you.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the word.
That's not the word. It's called trauma.
Out there.
Something.
Trauma bond.
No, trauma success.
No.
Trauma winning. No, I'm making things up now. But
I know what you're saying though. Yeah.
I think a lot of people can grow through trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in hindsight, I kind of go, it gave me more strength than I ever realised. I'd never wish it on anybody.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, being at the doctor's and going for a scan and going, I'm so worried about my baby. Is she going to feel the stress? You know.
Yeah.
And I remember this doctor sharing with me that you'll be absolutely fine. And I remember her saying that her husband had also left her when she was pregnant.
Wow.
And she said, because I was crying, and she said, there'll be a time when you will stop crying. I promise you, you will stop
She
crying.
also said babies are really resilient because that's what we needed to hear.
She was there so resilient. She said, you know, you have like, you know, meth addicts. She didn't say that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they have perfectly fine babies.
Yeah.
And I just needed to hear that I wasn't, you know, my thing was, am I stressing out my baby?
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I probably did stress her out a bit, but anyway.
And what do you teach them now? Are you trying to give them a certain message? Do they know just as much about, I mean, one of your children is 13, but I don't know about, what are you trying to teach them about sex and relationships? You know, are you hiding anything? Or
not really, no. And I kind of think like with Florence, you know, I want it to be open so that she could always come to me, you know, that you know, make sure you're ready, and you know, boys
don't ever be forced into something that you're not happy with to try and make someone happy.
Yeah,
so that was our main messages, because obviously, you know, growing up, we grew up in a very different society, but you know, you do get a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And we did get a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And, you know, our experience was like, you know, men will push it as far as they can.
Yeah.
You know, and get what they want. And they're driven by that at that age.
Yeah.
And so just always make sure you're comfortable and you it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're not sort of hanging around talking about sex all the time.
No,
we haven't gone from that extreme.
Or you're not
to
all
that.
naked around the house.
No. You get to a stage where you're like, okay, we can't see each other naked anymore. I think more so with a boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's hopefully it's open enough that they can come to us if they're stressed or they're in a difficult position.
Yeah.
I think it's a difficult time, isn't it? Especially for boys. I think with sort of that kind of Andrew Tate and the internet.
Yeah.
And it is really, really tough.
I just think it must be the most amazing thing having two like mums in the house, you know, and just I wonder what the difference would be by having two men look after their children and then two women. I wonder if there was a scientific, you know, to see what the child would actually turn out like.
I think our kind of thing was like we wanted a happy household.
Yeah.
Like, of course there's arguments and of course, you know, there's loads of shit that happens. But my kind of drive was I really wanted a really, really positive household, like with fun and laughter.
We grew up with quite a negative mother, so we really wanted kind of like, which we are anyway, but we just really wanted, you know, she's fine, she won't listen to this, but you know, when her car was in the drive, my heart would sink. I'd be like, oh no, she's home. I wanted the opposite. I wanted my kids to walk in and go, are you mum, are you home? And that's, we have got that. They also have a lot of male role models in their life. Obviously they've got their dads, but my dad's still around and he is the best dad.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, he's just the best. He would drop anything for anyone, and he is very instrumental in my son's life, particularly. I mean, they all go off and play 18 holes of golf. They you know, my son's actually quite a keen rugby player. He'll drive them all off over the country. He is such a major input in his life, and I also have 2 brothers. So and one of them is really funny, crazy successful entrepreneur, and he's a really good role model as well. My other brother as well has a really lovely family unit, very happy, very settled. So they have lots of examples of really good, stable family homes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you need though as well. You need to show a bit of it. We're going to go to audience questions now.
Okay.
So we'll see what we've got in. Oh yeah, are you bringing up your children in line with your diets, or do they explore more foods?
No, they're not vegan because they weren't vegan when we turned vegan, and their dads aren't vegan.
True.
And if anything, they're really opposite. I mean, they just like, we want meat. I mean, they're like, so no, we don't. We try and encourage healthy eating.
We don't do much meat for them. Like I did spaghetti bolognese the other night because I know they like it.
And then they moan if we do the corn. They're like, it's not real meat. It's not real meat. And in the end, I'm like, okay, let's just buy organic meat. So they're not. They're not.
I'm not too sure whether it's. I've got friends that they make their babies vegan from the get-go, but I don't know whether. I've always seen that as a tiny bit dangerous, but I don't know what you're probably going to say. No, not at all, and that's just a myth.
I don't know enough about it, to be honest. I do think there's a lot of scaremongering, as in like the vegan, the children don't get the right nutrients, and I think if you do it well, it's probably absolutely fine. I mean,
I do think there are a lot of unhealthy vegans. So you know, you can be a vegan and eat chips and bread the whole time. I think our focus, I don't really like the word vegan. I like the word plant-based. It's about nutrient-dense plant-based food. So beans, lentils, lots of pulses, lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, lots of seeds and nuts.
Your daughter's better than my son. He's a bit funny with textures. But she eats a lot better than my son does. And it's all that kind of, he's 13, he's protein, he's a bit short. So he's like, you know, trying to, you know, carb load and then protein and, you know. Anyway, the muscles.
Oh, but the word you were looking for is sapiosexual.
That's it. Who came up with that word?
Well done.
I was going
being attracted to intelligent men. Do many men go on your retreats? Is it for both?
Not as many as you like.
Okay.
No, and actually men really enjoy it. It's a real shame because I think the retreat markets, you know, men go to ones that ice bath, fire. And actually, you know, you don't need to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
but I think I was listening to an interview that you've done recently where you were saying how that it's funny that you go to these retreats and it's mainly men that are taking it, but they don't necessarily go.
The podcast.
It was a podcast we were saying about what's interesting about podcasts, especially in the wellness space, is that most people that are interested in wellness and go to retreats and all that kind of stuff is predominantly women. But it's men that dominate the podcast space. So you've got the wellness podcast. And apparently I found out the reason why is because women will listen to men and women podcasts, but men will only listen to men podcasts.
Not all men, but it's really bad. So if you think about Rogan Chatterjee, Dr. Rogan Chatterjee, what's the other one? The massive one. He used to be a monk. I've forgotten his name.
Jay Shetty.
These, even Diary CEOs.
It'll be predominantly women that listen with men, but like things like Fern Cotton, it's only women because men won't listen.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a shame, actually.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I bet you speak to men and probably no one would want to admit that is true. You know, but I'd love to know exactly why or what you know, because I would say, well, you want to listen to what you can resonate with, but no, because we're there listening to men podcasts.
We are.
What's the naked men playing guitar story?
Oh no, it's just like you know when you're on dating apps and the pictures are like the men with the guitar, like you're like, no.
They've got their like trousers but no top, and they're playing the guitar in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone with a guitar.
Just swipe left.
And I don't like mirror selfies as well.
No, no,
anybody takes
and sunglasses.
Yeah.
Can't see your eyes, you know.
Yeah.
Sunglasses, that's so good.
Do you know what I mean? People that their profile pictures are
or
sunglasses.
men with cats.
Oh yeah, that's
Cats
a bit
in their
weird.
hand. Yeah.
That's so funny. Will you write, maybe you have, well, apart from the fact you don't like writing books, where you have a nick with someone else writing books, but will you write a comedy series about your lives and experiences, or have you already?
We did write a comedy series that got very, very far, actually. We were with quite a big production company that kind of basically commissioned us to write it. We wrote it, and it was really, really good. And it was with the BBC, and it was just about to get a commission, but they commissioned Motherland instead.
Yeah.
So you get so many of these knocks, and you eventually go, okay, I'm done. But we are actually writing a book about our lives living
That's
together.
incredible, yeah.
Our story, and we're going to intercut it with recipes and wellness tips from the best.
Oh, I can't wait to read that.
Yeah,
That'd be amazing.
So we're working on it. I just got to keep concentrating and doing it.
My kind of deal is that when I get up first thing, that I don't go on Instagram, and instead use my time to write.
To write down,
It doesn't always happen.
No.
But yeah.
Do you reckon you'd be good at playing each other if you were doing a comedy series?
Yeah.
That would be actually quite funny. I reckon.
Yeah. I've never really thought about that.
No.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
I'm going to see that in your next
Yeah,
play you do.
yeah.
You're going to swap character roles. How did you find a passion for comedy when did you become interested in performing?
Lack of work, I think.
Yeah,
we weren't working
Yeah.
enough, and we were so bored of waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
We always used, ever since we were children, we used to
characters.
like always put on shows. We would interview each other, have our own radio show, that kind of stuff. And so it was a no-brainer, really. We just started like improvising characters, and then we wrote a show. We took it up to Edinburgh, and that was it.
Yeah. And was it hard to be in the comedy space when you were going through such horrible life events?
Well, actually, it was a bit of a lifeline, because when I so we did loads of Edinburgh's comedy shows. Then I got pregnant and sick, and then as I was starting to get better, my life had been so gloomy that I said to Loretta, I've got to do something creative.
Yeah, I need an outlet.
I need an outlet. So then we wrote a show called When the Shit Hits the Fan, and it was basically a comedy show, but it was about what had happened to both of us.
Yeah.
So it was a story intercut with lots of characters along the way.
Yeah.
And we brought that up to Edinburgh, and our kids were really young, 2 and 3. And we had an au pair at the time, and she brought the kids up. We stayed in a caravan just outside of Edinburgh, and it was really good for the soul to get back up on stage.
Really, really good.
Yeah,
And
I bet.
do something positive. And then the year after, we wrote a comedy show called Darts Wives, which was all about darts players' wives. And then we were like, it was a really good show, and we were like, it's not just me and Loretta in it, it was a four-hander. And the kids, again, were quite young. But actually, Barry Hearn, who's got a massive show on Netflix at the moment,
Yeah.
I wrote to him, because I didn't have enough money to do the show. And I was like, look, this is really funny. Would you sponsor us? So I went to go meet him in his, wherever he lives. I think it's Essex somewhere. And he was really charming. And he was like, I like you too.
Well, he basically said, I'll come and see it. If I think it's good, I'll
give you 10 grand.
I'll give you the money.
Oh my God.
To do
he
it.
did.
And he did it.
Yeah.
And he came to see our show. We put it on in Little Venice, and he was like, I think this show is really funny. And he handed over me a 10 grand check. Because it costs a bomb to go to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So we used that money to produce the show. And actually, the story doesn't end there. Again, this is one of those stories where you go, surely there's a better ending, but there isn't. A few years later, the show did the circuit with the TV companies, and then it didn't get picked up. And then it did get picked up by West End producers. And Mel Giedroyc was in it from, Mel and Sue, the Bake Off. She used to do Bake Off years ago. And we basically pitched it. We pitched it to we did a couple of nights, kind of a read through to investors to get it basically on the West End. And the investors loved it. I got a call because we were very clear from the beginning that we're writer performers.
Yeah.
Same way as like Miranda Hart or Ricky Gervais, we write to perform.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were very clear about this. So anyways, I got a call from my agent going, look, it's gone really, really well. They want a meeting, but they've just called me in. Yeah. So I was like, immediate red flag. The rest was like, you're being so negative. Well, why are you being so negative? You have to ruin everything. And I was going, I don't know why. I feel really uncomfortable. Why they called him in without us?
Yeah.
Anyways, we then get a call afterwards going, they want the show. They've got the money from investors. They just don't want you, Loretta, or the other actor in it. They're going to recast the whole thing with A-listers. Take it or leave it.
Wow. And I'm guessing you chose to leave it.
We left it. And we felt really good about leaving it because he was like, you could get loads of money. And I was like, well, I've never done it for the money.
I couldn't imagine sitting in a theatre and they said, you can be the writers, and watching Sheridan Smith play my part. And then going, can I give you a line change? I was like, I can't do that. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we walked away.
Good for you, though.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I wish there was a better ending, though. I wish it was. And then
you never know.
This happened.
Yeah.
There isn't. That's the ending of the story. That we failed, basically.
Well, I don't think you did.
No, I actually am really proud of that decision.
Yeah.
Because they treated us really badly as well. So it wasn't just that one decision. They weren't honest. I'd go into rooms and everyone would go quiet. Yeah. There was just a really horrible vibe.
Yeah.
Even though it was like one of the best parts of our lives because we were like, this is being picked up. Oh my God, it's happening. And then,
But it's so amazing for you to come on and speak about it, though, because the amount of people that have probably gone through that as well, because obviously there's so many new things being picked up on TV but they do change it a lot, you know, and they make it different and they make it their own. And
well, you were listening to that podcast. What was that with the one where they took the rights of the script?
Oh, it was with oh gosh, I can't remember the name.
She's massive. Anyway,
it's a brother and sister, and they've done a massive This Country.
Oh yeah, This Country,
yeah. So they had a very similar experience with This Country, and
they kept getting them to change it.
Yeah, and then it was awful, and then they said we're not doing it, and then they said in order for you to do this on another channel, you need to pay 350 grand to get the rights back. Oh, it was
like
just
awful.
It's
like it's Daisy May.
Yeah.
Well, and so what happened?
So she got the money. I think she got the rights.
They just kept going, and then they did it their way without all the interruptions of
And it's like what she was saying. Like, what do they know?
Yeah.
Like, when you're a creative and you're in a room with business people, they don't know more.
They know jack shit.
Because also it's done so well.
Yeah. It was amazing. But for every story like that, there's another one where they didn't get the money, they didn't get the rights back, and then they're working at KFC now. Do you know what I mean?
I just bringing everyone down, Sharon.
But it's hard. It's really, really hard. Like if my kids said, God, they don't want to be actors, I'm just like, you know, because I wouldn't change a thing. We had some of the best years of our lives being creative and doing shows, but it's incredibly painful. And that's why I love my own business, because I'm in charge of it. We've launched products. We're about to launch 2 new products. I've got my own podcast. I don't have to go to anyone and go, can we make this happen? I'm in charge of it.
Do you find there's a lot of is there ever been competition between the two of you, or not really? Now you're working together.
Not really. We're always delighted for each other, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think if one of us was to work solidly and was like doing plays at the National and then going over to...
Like if I was Kate Winslet and you were Kate Winslet's sister.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I would think I would find that really hard.
I think we would. We haven't had enough taste of it. Like,
no.
When I came out of drama school, I went straight into London's Burning, which is it was a kind of quite a big show at the time.
Yeah.
And you weren't working at that point. And
I was waitressing.
Yeah, that was quite difficult. Yeah. I'd be like,
and the fact that you went to drama school at the same age, same year.
And then we lived together. So I'd be like picked up by the car in the morning, and she'd be like
getting the bus to Rainforest Cafe.
So I think
have a nice day.
I love Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah.
So good.
I think, but that's
humbling.
It is humbling. But then there'd be periods when Loretta was working and I wasn't working, so it kind of really evened its way out.
Yeah. Do you experience strange reactions from other parents, about your teachings with your children?
Teachings?
Well, teachings and the fact that you live together and the fact that you do, you know.
Sometimes I feel I have to apologise a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I do feel like I apologise for my personality quite a lot. Like, so, you know, I'll go, yes, we're sisters, we live together, we're not weird, I know it sounds weird, oh, sorry, I don't drink, you know, I'm not boring. You know, I find myself doing that a lot. But it's only because you're just slightly outside normal. And when you're slightly outside normal, there is a bit of, where I just need to, I'm trying to prove to people I'm okay. I'm not weird.
Yeah.
I can fit
I
in.
don't know whether they obviously they don't say anything to us. So you don't know.
A lot of people say it's lovely as well.
Most people say how lovely, I couldn't live with my sister, but most people go, what an amazing setup.
And I've actually had friends, especially when the kids were younger, that would say, I want to get divorced so I can live like you.
Yeah.
Because at the time we had an au pair, we had every other weekend off.
Having every other weekend
amazing.
off when your children are young.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an absolute godsend.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
God, I'd love to live with my brothers, but I don't think they'd love to live with me for the rest of my life.
No.
Did your parents approve of your husbands?
Well, I think they approved of they did. My husband.
Well, they're both very charming, aren't they?
Yeah. And, my husband was very, involved. Like with...
He was sort of like a dependable, very posh, dependable.
Yes.
Sort of like, the local GP. That type of...
That's the vibes he gave.
Yeah.
And he would help.
The local GP, was he a local
No,
GP as well? No. I was
He'd
say,
love if you thought he was.
But that is such a good
sort of,
reference. Yeah.
He's sort of, he's the kind
really
of...
into environment, don't kill bumblebees and,
Yes, he wear burgundy chinos and loafers and just rocked it.
I mean, he might be shagging hundreds of women, but he'd never kill a bumblebee.
Yes, yeah.
So it was like... but he was a complete shock. Particularly my dad was quite close to him.
Yeah.
So he was a complete shock. I got engaged after about 2 months.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So it really was a quick decision.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get married until a year and a half later, but we got engaged very quick. Again, the love bombing and the, oh my God, this is the one.
Yeah.
But I think throughout the years of being with him, I became such a shell of myself, and I became... so distraught that, my mum, even though she was Irish Catholic, she was never like, oh, you've made your bed, lie on it.
Yeah.
She was always like, this isn't good for you.
And also they were both, my mum was very much like, you don't need a man.
Yeah, she was like that, actually.
Which was quite nice.
Yeah. And she was always a bit like, keeping a bit of money aside for yourself, like, because she came from very, like, my dad kind of controlled the money. Yeah. But she always had little pots of money. Yeah. And we wouldn't know about, I mean, he's really generous. She wouldn't need to do that, but she was like, keep some independence. Yeah. Don't ever rely on a man. And do you know what the weirdest thing is? And I think it's the way of life just teaching you something. When I met my ex, obviously I was an actor, I was a creative. There's never a regular income. It's always a bit, oh God, this month. So when I met him, he was incredibly successful. He worked in advertising. He was, I suppose, for his age, he was pretty loaded. And I obviously didn't go with him for that. But there was part of me going, oh my God, someone dependable, someone secure, like the father of my child will be okay. And I couldn't have made a worse choice because he basically, I mean, cut a long story short.
Do you want to share this, Sharon?
I won't share all of it.
I don't think you should share this.
But he turned out to be not very dependable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like the opposite of what I thought.
Yeah.
And I've learned to really, I financially provide for my child completely solely on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
So some life lessons in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have boundaries of you guys living together now for each other about what you say to your separate children or not?
No, we very much co-parent.
Yeah.
I mean, if Loretta says something, if Loretta goes, well, that was Carter's fault, sometimes we can be a bit like, well, no, I think you're fine. Florence before was winding him up. So,
but I also think if I've done something that you don't agree with, you will take me aside.
Yeah, I will
and
go, you've
say,
overreacted there.
Yeah.
And actually, you need to calm down and
but
take
I
a few
think that's
breaths.
like any relationship, though, isn't it? Really. And also, that's what aunties are for. You go to your auntie because you want to get away from your mum.
Yeah. She's
something
always
like
kind of
that,
winding Loretta up, going like, me and Sharon are more like sisters, and you're the mum.
Yeah.
But no, we try and or say if one of them is upset, I'd be like, can you go and talk to him, or can you try and get this message to land? Very much co-parenting, really. And I do feel like I've got 2 kids, even though I've biologically only got 1.
Yeah. Another question in there was what was your first kiss story? And did you tell your parents?
Kiss story is awful. Didn't he get off with someone else?
Oh yeah, there was a boy that I really, really fancied. And he was my brother's friend, and he used to call for us every day, and I was delighted because we'd all walk to school together, and I was so in love with him. Dennis O'Rourke, hopefully he won't listen to this. But anyway, And I remember we were at a party. I must have been 14.
Yeah.
And we kissed, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I've kissed him. I can't believe it after all this time. And then the next minute I look over and he was kissing someone else. And that was like a taste of things to come, I think.
Oh my goodness,
I know, it was all, but I was
sad.
devastated.
Yeah,
I was
you'd be
How old were
devastated.
you?
Oh, you
think
must
about
have 15.
15. Yeah, 15.
Stop trying to, like, get you more experience.
And what about you? Can you remember?
I do remember, and I was about 13, and his name was Bernie Meany, and I was just like smitten.
Sound like cartoon characters.
I know.
Bernie Meany.
Yeah, he was Irish. We were at the Irish Centre. There was an Irish Centre.
And that's not a nickname.
No, that's his name, Bernie Meany. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you called him
No.
that because he was mean or
No,
something.
it's Meany, MEANEY, I think it was.
That
Bernie
is
Meany.
so funny.
Yeah, I do remember my first kiss. And I think we sort of dated for about 6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
But I was like totally in love, like butterflies, coming home, kept imagining the kiss, all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And did you tell your parents?
No.
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 Yeah.
When did you think they realised you were having sex for the first time?
Oh,
I don't
God,
think they'd even.
Didn't even, no awareness.
Yeah. And as we finish off, do you have a most embarrassing story of dating? Or have you said them all?
Dating stories.
Sharon's got hundreds.
Do you know the singer Danny McNamara?
No.
Is it Embrace?
Embrace. They were really big at one time, and they did one of the football anthems, and we were playing like when it was the World Cup. And he's quite. Should I tell the story? It's quite funny. But he was really famous, like really famous. And I met him online, and he sent me a message, and I must have whatever my profile, and he was like, on his job title it said doesn't need to work, right? So as we were messaging, I was like, oh, that's interesting. You don't need to work, and then he sort of said to me, I really like you. He said you've got like a mercurial intelligence, and then he put in brackets, look it up. Right, so I was like, how patronising whilst I was looking it up, and then he said, my name's Danny McNamara, look me up. So I looked him up, and he's this massive singer around the time of Oasis, but they were the kind of like they obviously weren't Oasis, but he was very successful, and I went, and he said to me, why don't you come over to my flat on the first date? So I was like, I'm not comfortable coming to your flat on the first date. No, I won't be doing that. And he said, okay, well, I'll book a restaurant in Primrose Hill. So he booked this restaurant. It was a Chinese restaurant. And it was literally, his flat was upstairs. Like it was the bottom of his flat was the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, very convenient.
And then he kept going, you're a writer, I want to be a writer. Will you come upstairs and read my book? Read his book. And I was like, well, if you want to send me your book, like I'll read it.
Well, sit there in front of him for 3
well, he obviously
hours.
didn't want me to read the book, did he?
Yeah.
So then we went to the pub, and he started going, he started getting really intense. And he was like, see this phone, right? He goes, I've got hundreds of women, right, that want me, that service me, that want me. He said, if you be my girlfriend, right, I'll fucking throw this in the river. I'll throw it in the river. And I was like, this is like a fucking spoof. Like, what is this?
What?
And then he was sort of doing this. We were at the bar. I mean, I'm quite short. Yeah, and he's really tall, like 6'3". And he started kind of like nudging up to me, going, do you like a big man, do you? Do you like a big man? Like, it was just really like he wanted to go into some sort of weird role play. But yeah, I think that's probably one of my worst dating stories. But I've dined out on it because he was really famous at the time. It was a brilliant story to tell everyone.
Yeah.
I've got a good one, actually.
go
I went out with someone that I sort of knew. And so I kind of was like a bit nervous because we were friends. Like I knew him from work.
Yeah.
Adam.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, he was picking me up from my flat.
Yeah.
And he turned up on a moped. And I could see him pulling up, and I thought, well, I'll come in and I'll show him like where to park. So I came in, and he got off his moped, and he had obviously had a big helmet on. And
you went to go and kiss him.
I went to kiss him, and I kissed his helmet, and then I said, "Oh God, sorry, I've just kissed your helmet," and he went, "Oh." It's a bit quick or something. It was just the whole thing was just like awful, embarrassing.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Was he the same guy that you were shagging, and then this anthem came up on your phone going do-do-do, right as he entered? that.
Yeah, I had a cockle-doodle-doo ring phone, and I think we were just about to, and then it went
going on.
Like it was like,
With a wake up
Flags,
call.
yeah. You've entered.
That's so good.
But thanks for bringing that up, Sharon.
Sorry, is that an overshare?
Yes, it is an overshare.
Oh my god, that's amazing though. Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show. What do you hope for the future of well-being, of plant-based things, of your products and your retreats? Anything that you hope that?
I hope that I can earn enough money that I have a pension.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we are about to launch 2 new products, and we're really excited about it. And they are really good products, and they kind of do what they say on the tin. We've got like a cacao, sort of healthy hot chocolate type thing, and we've got a turmeric latte, and that's going to be launched in 2026.
Oh wow!
And then, obviously with our retreats, we are so blessed. They literally sell out.
Yeah.
I don't even have to think about them. I don't market them. They just have so much momentum now.
That's incredible.
I mean, they're not 20 bedrooms. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we really enjoy it though.
And we love it.
And I think for us, it's like, especially the podcast. It's about, I think, especially in the wellness world, there is so much misinformation. People are so confused and actually paralyzed. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I suppose what we like doing is sort of debunking what works, what doesn't work, what's true, what isn't true, and how do people live healthier, longer lives.
Yeah. That's amazing. Everything that you're doing is incredible. But I do have a gift for the both of you for coming on the show. Or if I can open it.
Is it a vibrator? No.
It is your own Dirty Talk mug.
Oh,
and
lovely.
I've got another one
Thank
here.
you.
So enjoy for all your new products.
Oh, thank you. That's
Perfect
lovely.
for it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is the Gavin Sisters, everybody.
Thank you.
That was